Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Today, we're going to talk about the word saga. A saga is a long running commentary or history where there's many different parts to the story. So you can think of a TV show with many parts as being a saga. The long running commentary about the health of Princess Kate in this country is a saga. There's also political sagas, controversies, and things which just never seem to go away. Every day there's an extra bit of the story, and to be honest, it gets a bit dull and boring. A saga. Now, let me just give you a few examples of the word saga, just so it's clear. Some people say saga, others say saga, with an A, which sounds a bit different. It's because of the way we say things in English. France, in received pronunciation, is France in other parts of the UK. So saga or saga. Here's a few examples. The author began a new saga that promised a real change to the characters in her books. The movie trilogy told the saga about aliens invading Earth. The ongoing saga of the political scandal made headlines around the world. The football team's championship saga had fans watching TV every day, waiting to see who was going to win the match. Now, speaking of saga and sagas, we use this in reported speech a lot, and there's an ongoing saga right now in our media about Princess Kate's brother. His name is James Middleton, and he's saying the actions of a local man are causing him anxiety and distress at his home. Now, let's just go over this story. The Princess of Wales' brother is locked in a toxic feud with a nightmare neighbor who has allegedly put up posters around the village attacking the Middleton family. Now, a toxic feud just means one of these very poisonous arguments. A feud is an Old English word that means an argument. You can probably hear that in old movies, but we do use it to talk about very serious arguments. A nightmare neighbor is how we describe bad neighbors. So the Princess of Wales' brother is locked in a toxic feud with a nightmare neighbor who's allegedly put up posters, that's just bits of paper, around the village, attacking the Middleton family. So the paper obviously is saying bad things. So Mr. Middleton, Kate's brother, owns a farm near Bucklebury, where Kate grew up. It's a really small village called Stanford Dingley, and it's in the middle of nowhere. And it seems that he's been threatened by the neighbor. Looking at the story, it's not just one thing that's happened. There's been many things. And apparently the neighbor was complaining about Mr. Middleton's farm, saying that it makes too much noise. They're using old equipment and it's generating noise and light pollution. It seems to have started from a complaint. So Mr. Alderton wanted to build something or add something to his home. I'm not clear on what that was, but here, if you want to extend your home size or do something, even though it's yours, you need permission from the government. And then they ask the neighbors, because if it's like an extension, it could block somebody's view, or it could, in many ways, be unsuitable. And it looks like the neighbor wanted to do this, and Mr. Middleton, along with many other people, objected. And so he was refused permission, and he got very angry. And then there's other allegations of him going onto Mr. Middleton's property when he was away on a holiday. And after tensions became very high, we usually say in English, after tensions reached boiling points, Mr. Middleton is understood to have requested that they communicate only via email or through the government. And apparently they've both been involved in some kind of mediation program to stop their feud. But it looks like they're still fighting. So that's in our news today. Another saga that's been going on for a long time in British news is one of our northern English towns called Blackpool. Now, I've mentioned this to you before. Blackpool is, well, it's a little bit depressing. It was a beautiful town at one point, but it isn't anymore. It still has memories and is reminiscent of a very successful, vibrant party town, but it's looking a little bit derelict these days. And the government there are blaming our Prime Minister for Blackpool's descent from being a bustling beachside resort town, which has now become a town with closed shops, antisocial behaviour, and an overstretched health service. And they found one of the locals who's warning her son not to walk down the main street in Blackpool because it's simply not safe anymore. She says there's nothing for children to do that doesn't cost a fortune. And it looks like someone else that they found has said he's taken out private health insurance after being left waiting for multiple surgeries on the government's waiting lists. And yeah, it looks quite rough. So they're blaming our Prime Minister for this. So that's another ongoing saga. Another saga which has been happening, and it just means something that's been going on over a number of days or weeks. The European Union came to our government and offered them the possibility of allowing our young people between the ages of 18 and 30 to live, work, and study in the EU zone. the European Commission wanted to offer this deal for UK citizens, but our government spokesperson here said there was no interest from the UK side, adding that free movement within the EU had now ended after Brexit. The UK currently has individual youth mobility schemes with 13 countries, and the government said it preferred these arrangements rather than have an EU-wide deal. And our opposition also said, we reject the possibility of allowing our children between the ages of 18 and 30 to enter the European Union, again saying that they prefer individual relationships with very specific countries. They're saying that they want to improve the UK's working relationship with the EU, but no return to the single market, no free movement, and no customs union. The European Commission responded saying that Britain had actually expressed an interest in the past with individual states, adding that making this available to all of the European Union would be preferable because it would ensure all members are treated equally. One of the vice presidents for the European Commission said this will probably restrict the choices of students in the UK. And they're saying that they want to be ambitious and realistic about the relationship between the EU and the UK. Oh dear. It says here that Australia, New Zealand, some individual EU countries already let young people in, thanks to the government agreeing with them. One of our opposition parties, that's the Liberal Democrats, have said that they would like to see that happening. Yeah, I'd like to see that happening. I mean, goodness, I grew up in a world where free movement was quite normal. I lived, worked in different parts of Europe, happily went on holiday there, and other countries as well. So to suddenly find myself restricted, or to be told, sorry, your government doesn't like it when you work here, it's no surprise that I don't vote. Well, that's the news from today from around the EU. Those are some sagas which are currently going on here. By the way, tomorrow is Stephen Lawrence Day here in the UK. So that's something else that will be coming your way because I'll be talking about that tomorrow. Stephen Lawrence Day is one of these days that we have every year. We commemorate it every year in honor of a black teenager who was killed in a racist attack in 1993. He was 18 years old. He was waiting for a bus, apparently. The people that they thought did it were caught but never charged. They were never formally charged. And it's apparently very, very famous here, this. I think I remember it happening, and the saying that the only reason it happened was because he was black. And there's been all kinds of accusations. I think the police identified that they did not handle the case properly, and they admitted that they were at that time a little bit racist. So they've changed. They've, I think, reopened that investigation to try and find the people who were responsible. So he's kind of a symbol now for racism and how hate in all of its forms simply leads to death. So, yeah, it's very interesting. There was a public inquiry about this, so I'll tell you all about it tomorrow on Stephen Lawrence Day. That's it from me. See you. Bye.